you, John, now. Yeah. I'm going to come to you, John. But before I come to John, there is an interesting picture, a graphic representation of what the Brazilians are saying, are fighting for, that has been all over. That's the picture on your screen. Tunde, I mean, you've seen this picture. You brought it to our attention. And that's the picture of a Brazilian child crying. He has a fork on his hand. He has a knife on the other one. But there's no food. Yeah. There's only a football. Yeah. And the picture they're trying to sell is that, look, are we feeding on football? And we are hungry, we are crying. That's the picture that the Brazilians are painting. Well, that's what you find on the streets of Brazil.
What they're saying is football is interesting, it's exciting here, but it can't nourish you. football can't sustain you.
This boy crying.
It's just representative of the spirit of how Brazilians currently feel. And if you look at the boy himself, it tells you his color, his complexion. The truth is, it is mostly the dark, the Negroid or colored population of Brazil that are at the forefront of this protest because Brazil still has some issues with racism, internal racism, that a lot of people do not know about. They regard everyone as a gringo, which if you ask some people who live in Brazil, is a derisive word for anyone from foreigners.
Let's come to John. John plays his football in Portugal,
which is Portuguese speaking.
Which is, I mean,
similar of Brazilians.
Of Brazilians. How key is what these guys fighting for? How key is it to the success or the otherwise of the 2014 World Cup, as somebody who plays football in Portugal as well?
Yeah, because in Portugal, in the league, we have so many Brazilians playing, and we have so many Brazilians living there too. But I remember we were at the Confederations Cup last year, and it was terrible. Like we couldn't go out after the game. We were always in the hotel. I mean, I remember the first game we played against Tahiti. We're supposed to go visit the Nigerian commissioner or something there, but we already told the hotel not to prepare anything for us to eat.
Like so, you probably eat at the place of the reception.
Yeah. So after the game, I mean, we're told we can't go anywhere. There's a place where the riots and everything is happening. So we need to stay. So we went to the shopping mall close to the hotel. That was where we actually went to eat. So I mean, I don't understand why it is a big problem for them now in their country. Of course, I know the country is in crisis, and they're hosting this World Cup, and I mean, everyone has their own problems. So
there was a clash between police and rioters today. Protesters. Let me not call them rioters. Let me call them protesters today that left one person dead. John, I mean, as a footballer, does that affect you? I mean, you are there for a tournament. You can see FIFA, go home. I mean, that's what you see everywhere. As a footballer, does this affect your performance on the pitch when the people are against a tournament that you are getting involved in? Does it have a way of affecting whatever you do on the pitch?
Yeah, it does. But I still remember this same Brazilians, in the last Confederations Cup. They were so united, even with the protests and everything, and yet they won the tournaments. So I think it's normal. It's normal. The people are not happy. I mean, that the country is hosting because they don't have food and everything. But I mean, this is the World Cup. I mean, they should just try and respect the fact that this tournament is being hosted in their country. I feel for the country too. I mean, everyone has the same problem. In their country, but I just pray everything.
All countries have one thing or another that they're trying to grapple with.
Yeah.
Tony, you have always said that once the football begins, maybe all of these things will subside. But now that the life has been lost, it does go beyond just the surface.
In all honesty, it was inevitable that we would get to this point where we would have major casualties, loss of life, because it had been ramping up gradually. And I'm just hoping that this doesn't spark something wider. If you remember, the Arab Revolution, the Arab Spring started when just one, I think a street vendor in Tunis, set himself on fire. Just one individual. And now already one person is dead. God knows what else can happen. We still maintain that some of the most dangerous cities in the world are located in Brazil. We still maintain that the Brazilian government have, set out a lot of things. Called up 157,000 policemen. They've placed orders for rubber bullets, for tear gas canisters, for smoke grenades, for stun grenades. That shows you that this is not a country that's preparing for a World Cup. It's a country that's preparing for a major crisis. But I'm just hoping that if the Brazilian team does well, because that is the only thing that can keep everyone in their homes. Once the Brazilian team starts to play well and start to win games, then the people might just be distracted a little and just go back to their homes. So as the government is now, their biggest weapon is the Brazilian national team.
Okay, let me get some reactions on Twitter very quickly. KC Omojine, a very good friend of the house, the barrister, says it's good to see John Ogu in the studio. He's sad that he's not part of the World Cup squad, but I wish him the best of luck. Somebody wants to know, is it true, John, that you chickened out at the last minute from presenting the show? But he says, nice having you on the show, and he likes your voice as well. Nigeria Sports Award says, nice work and well done for bringing John Ogu to the studio, and of course, for John Ogu also gracing the Channels National Kids Cup final. It says, congratulations to Channels for staging a successful Channels Kids Cup. Mamezi Enoch at Enoch Mambazman, what a name, says, ask John what he thinks about the performance of the Super Eagles. We're going to come to that. And he says, I was shocked when I saw that John wasn't going to Brazil. How does it feel not making the short list of 30? Iwelumo Ishioma says, my respect for John Ogu. He has an excellent spirit. His support for the Eagles is inevitable despite being left out for now. That's what he says. And he says, Oluwabi says, good to see John Ogu off the pitch, a good player, and I still believe he has a role to play in the Eagles. Wish him the best of luck. We're going to come back to more questions later on. But let's take a few of these questions that I directed at you before we go on a break, John. Let's start of the team. I mean, I read your Twitter handle. You were shocked. You were unhappy. You had the problem with the club because you came to honor the friendly against South Africa.
No, not with the club, with the coach.
With the coach.
And the coach, for those who don't know who are asking, is actually Sergio Conceição. Sergio Conceição is ex-football player.
Portuguese international.
Portuguese international winger for Lazio. And John, just tell us exactly what was the genesis of the crisis between you and Sergio Conceição.
I mean, like I said earlier on, in other shows that I've been to, I mean, it's just something. I went back, after the Confederations Cup, I was, preparing myself, for the new season. I had a good preseason and everything. So I got invited for the game against South Africa. And he called me into his office and he was like, listen, you need to call the coach of the national team, tell him you're injured. I mean, I don't want you to go for this game because we have a game coming up and, I mean, you're key in this game. I want you to play in this game. And I said, I mean, I can't because this is a coach who believes in me. I need to go, honor this invitation. So I told him I was going to talk to the national team coach, and the next day I didn't say anything. So I went to him. I said, I spoke to the coach, and the coach wouldn't allow me. So I went for the game, and when I came back from
that was the friendly match.
Yeah, that was the friendly. When I came back, he was so hungry. Not even angry. He was so angry that I even played 90 minutes in this game. And I was trying to explain to him. Then he came up with, you have your national team on your head and you don't think about the club, and that was just how everything started between me and him. And since then it's something shock to me because if it's something that I'm injured or I'm not doing well or I'm not fit to play, I understand. I can easily work myself, to play.
Yeah, we had that subsequently you were living on the bench.
I was training hard. Even my teammates, they come to me and they say to me, you need to play. The one that got that was shocked was when a guy playing my position had suspension. The guy was like, oh, congratulations, you're going to play the next game. And the next day, the game day, they brought out the list. I mean, the coach did.
You're not on the list?
No, I'm not on the list.
Let's come to the Eagles now. How did you feel? I mean, when the list of 30 was named by Keshi and John Ogu wasn't on the list?
Yeah, I felt bad. I felt
the world was coming to an end.
Yeah, I felt bad. To be honest with you, I felt bad. But and the next day, with the love and support from the fans on social media, that really made me understand that it's not over. I can still go to another World Cup. And I want to say thank you to everyone, the fans and everyone who showed me love. This really made me understand that everyone appreciates the little thing that I've done for the national team.
Let's go on a break now. Of course, when we return from the break, we will be asking John to analyze his colleagues in that game. We'll be doing that when we return from this timeout.
I come with my voice, here to win. it's my choice. You can dream if you dare. Give it all you've got.
Yo, listen, losing was never an option. I've always been destined to win.